Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can probably see in the title of this video, which is pretty dramatic title, to be honest, Poland is preparing for the worst. What is this evacuation plan about? How big part of Poland is supposed to be evacuated? And what is really going on? This is the main topic of this video today that I have prepared for you. And before we start, I want to make a disclaimer. My audience is very much aware of it, how the dark forces operate and how they manipulate the masses. And that is mainly by using fear. So it's really up to people how they react to any news that they come across and what does it do to their emotional system, to their nervous system, because fight and flight can be very easily activated in your brain, and then you make the decisions that you might very much regret in not a distant future. So before we start with the article that I'm going to read for you, and also I will present to you a map, which areas of Poland are supposed to be evacuated. And this is actually already official. There is a legal document that the government has prepared. I want to say thank you to Alan, who donated on my PayPal. Thank you so much, Alan, for supporting me this way. I very much appreciate it. So without any further ado, first, let's go to the article that, by the way, is from today. However, this decision has been in the making for quite some time. So let's go to this. We're going to read it, everyone, and you will be very well informed what kind of worst Poland is preparing to. I think you can see it on the screen. The article is from today. Poland is preparing for the worst. 2,477 municipalities, if I mispronounce, apologies, you know, my English not perfect, have adopted plans to evacuate the population. You have 15 minutes. That's right, you have 15 minutes. And it reads, at the end of 2025, the largest planning operation in the history of the Polish administration was completed. So last year. All 2,477 municipalities in Poland submitted their evacuation plans to the voivodeship offices, and importantly, all of them met the statutory deadline. In practice, this means that procedures can be launched immediately and decisions in crisis situations are to be made within 15 minutes. The basics of the entire system is the Act of 5th December 2024. That's when they already had this in the conversations, you see. They are always planning ahead. On civil protection and civil defense, this is from Journal of Laws of 2024, item 1907, which entered into force on January 1st, 2025. It imposed on local governments the obligation to prepare specific contributions to voivodeship plans. Municipalities were given exactly 1 year to do so, and the details, what and how are to be included in these documents, were specified in the regulation of the Councils of Ministers of 30th of May 2025. In practice, each municipality had to analyze local hazards, designate evacuation routes and assembly points, and indicate facilities where people could be temporarily accommodated. In addition, there were communication procedures and transport organization. The deadline of 31st December 2025 was of systemic importance because without municipal documents, it is not possible to create voivodeship plans, and without them, a national evacuation system. Billions for civil protection. Poland is accelerating preparations for the worst case scenario. There is no concrete money behind all this. The government has committed to allocate at least 0.3% of GDP annually to civil protection, which today amounts to about 10 billion Polish zloty. In turn, for the years 2025-2026, nearly 5 billion Polish zloty of support for local governments is planned under the Civil Protection and Civil Protection Program. The May 2025 regulation clearly defines when evacuation procedures are triggered. There are 4 scenarios. So here are the procedures as far as the threats go. Armed threat, ongoing conflict, the risk of a natural disaster and its actual occurrence, technical disaster. So a lot of things that's happening already and some other things they can easily create, right? Depending on the scale of the threat, decisions are made at the central, provincial, or local level with mayors able to act immediately in emergency situations. So who is the first to evacuate in the event of war? Not everyone has the same chances. It is also clearly defined who has the priority for evacuation. In the first place, children, pregnant women, hospital patients, and people requiring constant care are evacuated in the event of an emergency. Specialized transport, including sanitary and earth transport, is provided for them. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Other residents, if they are able, should evacuate themselves. Yeah, that's a mess, isn't it? Just imagine. The basic notification tool remains the RCB alert, which is like a text message. In Poland, we say SMS is, I think, short messaging system. Is it what it stands for? Anyway, it's like text message that they send you. And is sent automatically to all phones within the range of a given BTS station. Alarms, sirens, and announcements in public media are complemented, and local governments are obliged to counteract disinformation and verify messages regarding the course of evacuation. So, they also, actually, this I didn't mention to you before, that they were sending this safety guide book that costed a lot of money. 16.8 million copies were sent out. Anyway, Warsaw is preparing for the worst, metro as a shelter and buses for the wounded. Warsaw is developing its own civil protection program called Warsaw Protects. The project's budget for 2025-2027 has increased to 186 million Polish zloty, and in total, together with government funds, the city has about 400 million Polish zloty at its disposal for security-related activities. As part of the program, facilities that can perform productive functions are analyzed and modernized. Let me scroll down and look at a few other things here. This is funny, actually. This is actually funny. I mean, seriously. One of the Warsaw's key projects is the underground shield. It assumes the use of metro infrastructure as hiding places for over 100,000 people. Although the metro does not meet the requirements of a shelter, mainly due to the lack of airtightness, and can provide protection against shrapnel, I don't know what is that, and shockwave. At the same time, crisis storage facilities are being built, I'm sure they are, and investments in autonomous power supply plants are planned. But shelters in Poland are still a big problem. The data leaves no illusion. So here are the numbers, everyone. However, the challenges are considerable compared to the whole country. According to the data of the Ministry of Interior and Administration, there are about 1,000 shelters in Poland that meet the current requirements. Meanwhile, the inventory of the PSP from 2022-2023 showed 1,903 shelters and 8,719 hiding places but their total capacity is only 1.43 million places. With a population of 38 million, this means that only 3.8% of needs are secured. The reality of it all, huh? So why I read you all of this is because, let me see myself, I have to go back to it. Okay, why I read you all of this is because now this is becoming more and more talked about, I would say, kind of official, but not everyone knows about it, right? So this plan has been prepared, and I will show you the map that has been presented in one of the interviews on different channel. So maybe let's do this, and then I give you my commentary, what I think about it, why they are doing this, why they want to evacuate people. Actually, let me show you. What you're gonna see here is an interview on one of the Polish YouTube channels that was with someone who is very, very known in Poland. This gentleman, his name is Krzysztof Jackowski, and he is clairvoyant. Some people don't agree with his visions, a lot of people do. He's very popular. He was, you know, some visions, of course, not everything comes true, but he actually was very accurate with a lot of things in the past. A lot of his visions actually came true. So here is the map. And in this interview, the person who is having conversation with this gentleman is presenting the map, because this is exactly what he was talking about a while back. He actually had this vision, and that document was not official, was not talked about, so it was much before that. So you can see this is the map of Poland, but I wanted to show you this from the interview because this map is really good. It presents which regions will be evacuated, okay? So you can actually see Warsaw is right here, but it's not in this area. However, Kraków and all those regions here, you know what is next to this borderline, right? We have Ukraine. So this is this part of Poland that's supposed to have their citizens evacuate, and they have 15 minutes to do so. Now, my thoughts on that, why they are doing this. In my opinion, and I don't think I am too far away from the truth, this is, again, part of the greater New Israel project. Well, maybe I should say Kazaria 2.0, because what is taking place in Ukraine will also take over Poland. So we have the regions in Ukraine that will be the new Kazaria, and I know many of you know exactly what I'm talking about, and the process is going on. So the same people who are orchestrating the conflict, Russia-Ukraine, they have absolutely perfect map, and they know which areas is their promised land, right? They are returning to their areas. So whatever reason they're gonna use now, whatever reason they're gonna use for people to evacuate, let it be some threat. We already have the conflict going on between Russia and Ukraine. That's another story, because Russia perfectly, with surgical precision, as Putin says, executed the cleanup of certain areas so certain type of people can settle in those areas. Now, the regions in Poland that you see, a lot of this was Galicia before the World War II. So we're gonna see probably, if this comes to fruition, a new development for certain type of people to return to their land. And now the question is, how many people will comply with this order, with those orders? Not to say logistics of it are absolutely impossible, because people will not be able to leave those areas. And why is that? Because the roads that they chosen will be very limited for the number of cars. They need the gas in the tank. They need to drive. If it's electrical car, they need to charge it, etc., etc. So imagine the mess. Just imagine the chaos of all of it. So physically, logistically, it will not be possible to those who decide to go. Some probably will, but if they do, will they ever be able to return to their properties, do you think? Just think twice, or maybe more than twice, because that is the whole plan, in my opinion, to scare people out, to make them obey, and to leave their areas. And if they leave it, they might not ever be able to return there because there will be someone else occupying that place. So, on that note, I want to show you a video, kind of like in the same vibe, from Hungary. What we are seeing here is, as they say, the richest Hasidic Jew spotted coming off his chopper, so helicopter, in Kerestir, Hungary. It means probably looking for the properties. I don't know. So imagine people are evacuating, and then not that much long after, you have some helicopters coming and making sure that they will inspect what's left and gladly move in. So that is the whole concept about, in my opinion, about this evacuation plan. And why is that? I forgot the number of that important. There was something that Trump has signed during his first term. Actually, I talked about it before. I forgot what was the number of it. It was like a legislation, or I forgot the name of it. But what it was about that, for example, Poland, not just Poland, has to pay back to certain type of people the money, the land, with the money, with the land, with the properties for what took place during World War II, and also for like reimbursement, right? Like you have to give it back. So that was actually signed. So this whole project of Ukraine is part of it as well. And you remember the guy I was showing you some time ago, I think 6 or 7 months ago, who was talking about Kazaria 2.0 and how they are executing this plan. This is actually, I think this is part of this plan. So if you hear about that there is an evacuation in Poland, don't be shocked, because this has been in the making for a long time, I think much longer than the last 2 years. But it hit the government, and it was officially accepted. I will attach the link down below in the description box if you want to read it again. So a shit show or Muppet show, the same formula, use fear to terrify people. A lot of people will be afraid because they believe everything they see on TV. They believe everything they hear from the governments. They believe every politician, or maybe they have their favorite politicians, but all of them are in this together. No red or blue. It's all the same, doesn't matter what's the country. So you really decide for your own self. And I'm just saying one more time, if you're going to leave your area, you might not have a place to return to, which in itself, that's what they want. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate your support. You have all the links to other platforms down below the video. I hope I explain myself well enough without using too many words that could trigger this platform that is very, very overly sensitive. But you know exactly who is going to be the new homeowner of those left empty homes, The same people who are in Patagonia or Cyprus or soon Greece, where else? Thailand, right? Navision, Philippines. Where else? I forgot so many places. I think Hungary, right? So many places, Of course, Poland has to be part of it, has to be. Actually, actually, before we end this video. Let's go to this, guys. Let's go to this. Let me just show you, because it's just a reminder. Not most of you know about this. A very spontaneous video today. Let me just find this. Where is he? You know who this is? This is young Netanyahu, okay? So let's read this. The Netanyahu name is a modern reconstruction masking the family's true Polish roots as the Milejkowski. His father, Benzion Milejkowski, was born in Warsaw and later Hebraized, that's how you say it, the name to project an image of ancient belonging. The shift from the Ashkenazi European lineage to a native identity was a calculated rebranding, allowing the family to claim indigenous roots while obscuring their history as migrants from the European diaspora. By shedding the Milejkowski name, they built a narrative of entitlement that many see as a departure from their actual heritage. Raised in affluent Pennsylvania and educated at MIT, Netanyahu's worldview was forged in elite American circles rather than local struggle. This Western upbringing made him completely American, leaving him without Arabic fluency or a lived connection to the people he leads. He spent his formative years in luxury, far from the hardships or the region, making him a stranger wearing the clothes of a local leader. His leadership reflects this American foundation, prioritizing a war machine and global power over the authentic needs of the land. Even before the recent escalations, massive protests before October 7th proved that the illusion is breaking. Hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets, recognizing that his system is built on personal power and deception rather than the people's safety. These truth seekers see the system as fragile and on the verge of collapse. As more become awakened to his Polish origins and American upbringing, the narrative of his indigenous leadership is failing, signaling that those who rely on such facades are finally being exposed. And here we have pictures. His real name is Milejkowski. This is him. He comes from a Polish family, not ancient Jews' roots in Israel. He was raised in America in fancy New York circles and rich schools. He never lived like the people he claims to lead. He grew up far from desert, far from the struggle. This is not a small lie. This changes everything. Here is his father. Netanyahu's father was a hard man who pushed extreme ideas. Young Benjamin learned politics in American living rooms, not on Israeli streets. He barely speaks Arabic. He never broke bread with Palestinians. He never buried a child killed by bombs he ordered. He's a stranger wearing the clothes of a leader. And here he stole the name Netanyahu to sound like an old Jewish hero, but he is Ashkenazi from Europe, a colonizer playing the role of native son. He built a war machine. So we read this already. And here we go, everyone. So let's close this. Going back to the main topic of this video, evacuation plan. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Leave the comment down below if you are not afraid to do so. I appreciate it. And if you choose to support my work, the best way is to join my Patreon. Locals, you can donate on PayPal, of course, if you choose to. And follow me on Instagram as well. The link is down below the video. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I say to those who are watching and are from Poland, please do not freak out. Just do not freak out because that's what they want. See you in the next video. Bye, everyone.